Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
Whew, it's a bit warm for September.
It's too warm for September. Should be time to wear your jumpers and get your boots out and wear coats and hats and I feel like I'm like the Taylor Swift reel thing and drink pumpkin spice and all that. I don't know. I know technically early September is still summer.
But I can't remember September ever being this astronomically
No, I
hot.
think like the highest you get in September is maybe 15, 16s.
Yeah.
Like that's the highest you'd get, not 27s, which, to be honest, I can't wait for it to thunder and lightning. I just don't want this warmth anymore. I'm wanting to get my Halloween stuff out already, Paul. That's how excited I am. Not for our Halloween series, but just for Halloween in general.
Well, before that anyway, Halloween movies roll around. We've got another movie, of course, to watch that neither of us have seen. And we're going to be covering a martial arts movie. And this one starring Bruce Lee. It's called Enter the Dragon.
Never heard of it. Know who Bruce Lee is. Don't worry, I know who that is. I don't know, I don't really think I like this kind of niche.
We like Tekken.
I like Tekken because I'm playing it. I think watching it is a different thing.
You don't get into like the whole like Karate Kid or whatever where it's that. Because you like that as well, like Cobra Kai. And that's kind of...
there's a story though. I think the recent ones I've watched, which have been kind of put on in the background, and I've done something else.
But like the Jackie Chan Dragons Forever, watching that is dubbed. But
I just feel like it just feels like this weird comedy kind of piece. So what's this one called?
Enter the Dragon.
And that one's Dragons Forever. They're really, really creative titles.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but okay. This was Bruce Lee's last film, so I don't know if it's like with the Heath Ledger thing, like going out with a bang on stuff with his last performance, but obviously I've got nothing to really compare it to because I've really never seen any Bruce Lee films, so. But I know this is like one of the most well-known ones of his filmography, so.
I feel like you said that about the good, the bad and the ugly, that was like one of the most well-known ones, and I didn't appreciate that, so we'll see. I don't know, I'm not going in thinking I'm going to absolutely love it.
I'm obviously intrigued because I do kind of like the whole thing, but whether it's played a bit more serious than that, and like really comedy elements, I've got a feeling it's probably not going to be that like jokey unless it's.
I think that would be better for me. The less comedy in it, the better I'll actually appreciate it.
Okay, well, the brief synopsis reads as: Lee, a Shaolin martial artist, is recruited by a British intelligence agent to infiltrate an island fortress and capture a high-profile drug lord.
Sounds like every action film. Sorry.
Not every action film.
Majority. It's either to do with drugs or money or a girl gets kidnapped, and that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah. But not intrigued by like a sort of like
I think
kung fu stylings?
Yeah. I'm not like, oh yes, if it was on the shelf, like when blockbusters used to be a thing, then I'd be like looking through, like, would I pick that myself? No, but that's why we do this. This is why.
Maybe change your tune. You never know who wrote that.
I highly doubt I'll be giving it a 10.
I don't know if I will, but only time will tell, won't it?
True.
So, we'll be back with our thoughts on Enter the Dragon.
Sounds a bit wrong.
That's it. How did it feel to you?
Let me think.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't Concentrate on the finger, or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Do you understand?
And we're back. It's still very warm.
Do a rain dance. I think it's just got to that kind of level of warmth where it's just so warm, your body just doesn't want to do anything. So it's great because we watched a film and we pretended we were vampires and stayed inside. And it's weird because normally I'm not like this on a day like this, but it's just so humid.
Well, the question is, was the film enjoyable?
It was long, which is weird. It was like 2 hours.
I think it was less than that. Hour 40 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
It just seemed to be stretched out, and there wasn't much of a storyline. I don't think.
I get you. I think you mean like say from getting from point A to point B. Really was sort of dragged out at the beginning.
Yeah, just like the travel. You know, like when you watch The Lord of the Rings and they take forever to cross a field. Yeah. I think that's kind of the equivalent of this, but obviously there's a lot more kind of going on in The Lord of the Rings and characters
to develop on, yeah.
I'm really struggling with everybody's names in this film. That's like how impactful everybody is to me, clearly. I think I've got Hans, and I think he's just because he's the guy with no hands. That's how I'm remembering it. Bruce is obviously...
Which is called Lee in this.
Lee,
yeah.
But yeah. Is it actually called Bruce Lee? Is that his actual name? Or is that like stage name?
Looking it up, it says, as a child actor, he performed under the name Lee Siu Lung, which translates to Little Dragon Lee.
That's quite cute.
By the time he returned to Hong Kong film industry as an adult in 1971, Bruce had many more names: Little Dragon, Dragon Lee, and simply Dragon. So
I think Bruce is just so that we can kind of... It's westernising him, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. Born Lee Jun Fang. So, yeah, it's a stage name, I think, yeah, westernised, because he was Hong Kong American martial artist, so, yeah. And he died at the age of 32.
I mean, that's a bit scary.
Yeah.
I'm I just turned 30, well, it'll be soon my birthday, so I'll be 31.
Yeah, so this was his last film as well.
Just for taking some paracetamols, unless he overdosed on them, I don't know, but it seems a bit sad, doesn't it?
Yeah. Crazy. It's, all that training and stuff and doing, and that's something crazy.
As well, to be so fit and healthy and be that physique and everything like that, like, it just makes you think.
Yeah, reaction to it.
It's annoying because you can be as fit and healthy as you want, and
you can still get.
Well, it's like football players, isn't it, and everything like that.
Other characters we have in it go by the name of Roper, and I think it's Williams. I think it's the other one who's like the Afro.
Oh, is that what his name is?
Yeah.
I've never clocked it. I've got a Rupert. I don't know.
I thought that initially, but he's called Roper.
Oh.
It said it in the credits, so.
Right.
Roper is the white guy. I sort of get what you mean about getting to the base point of where the operation takes place, but I suppose it's got to set up, to get there, the journey to get there.
I think my gripe was not actually with like the interaction with Bruce Lee. That was fine. Like explaining to Bruce the island and obviously his sister's death and with
that flashback.
Yeah, and there's a female agent there, and you need to, all of that's fine. I think it's the other side characters when he's on like I forgot what they're called. There's literally somebody running.
And I think it's a rickshaw, isn't it, or something? Yeah.
Which is just lazy. It's just like, well, that person's putting a hell of a lot of work in carrying you. And then obviously when he's on that boat as well with all his suitcases, it's just like, this feels like it's taking forever.
Literally watching almost the journey in full.
Yeah.
Like, capacity from beginning to end, like, as if you're there with him.
Yeah. So I think it's more like the side characters getting them to the island and not really knowing much about them.
I mean, they try and do it with that little hazy flashback thing they're going to do. Like, that's fair enough with Lee. Obviously his backstory's got purpose, but the other one's not so much. I don't think.
And I feel like Lee could have just met them there, and that would have been fine.
But what's your background or something?
Met them on the ship or whatever.
Yeah, to have that interaction. Yeah.
Perfect, no problem. Would have cut quite a bit out. The action itself is great. Like, you can't fault that, but it all comes shoehorned in at the end.
The majority of the big fights, yeah. But it's got to...
And then hardly any dialogue. Just a lot of grunting. Yeah. And the pa-pum, which...
You kept laughing all.
It did make me laugh because, like, well, let's see. Can I whack you?
Go on. Let's see, there was a slap. I might have picked that up, but it wasn't like a whoosh.
No, I think that's what it is. It sounds
Exaggerated.
like you've got a whip and you're like, whoosh, in
Like
somebody.
a comic book, like pow.
Yeah.
Something, whatever.
So it did, and I think, I forgot his name, but one of the guys just go, "We're not in a comic," or something
Yeah,
like
that was the Williams, yeah.
And I
You're
just think
straight
that's...
out of a comic book, yeah.
And him as a character was very cliche of what a stereotypical...
Yeah, like blaxploitation. Like, again, I said to you, it almost felt like a bit like Black Dynamite vibes, really, with that put on, kind of like, oh, like choosing from all these women kind of thing, and it's like, oh, I'll pick you, and you, and yeah.
That
and
got my back
like,
up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needed one of those afro combs
yeah,
stuck in his
did.
head or something, just to add to the stereotype.
It does feel like, I don't know where the idea came first. I don't know how old is the film?
1973.
And do you know when Cobra Kai came out? Not Cobra Kai. What's it called?
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid.
1984.
This was before, I guess.
Well, yeah.
But
I
to
mean, there's
me,
a lot of Hong Kong cinema came before.
This reminds me of like the same kind of beat, somewhat of good and bad, and
in a tournament type thing. Isn't it?
Yeah.
This, it doesn't go into great detail with the whole tournament thing, does it? Really, just more like
it's a bit confusing.
Let's fight outside in a thing. You fight some students, and then
I feel like for this, it's just a lot of we'll fight somebody and then we'll kill them. And I feel like that's kind of whittling down the numbers basically. Yeah. And that's all it kind of is, just so that you can be in this like elite cult.
Yeah.
And he just wants the finest men to protect him, basically. That's what he wants. And that's why he runs the tournaments.
To have, like, top-notch henchmen or guards for his, operation.
I don't know why he don't have any hands. Like, I don't know what's happened to his hands.
Yeah, I don't know if whether this is fallen from something else. I don't feel like it's not. I feel like it's probably its own standalone thing. I think I could be completely ignorant on that, it's like there's something we don't know about. Like from a previous film, there was this guy who's
we've just like missed something completely. I feel, but maybe if we have, let us know. But yeah, just I don't know. It just don't all seem to stack up.
What for me? I know you haven't really seen any like James Bond films, but it definitely had that kind of like from the 60s vibe of.
If you're saying that's what James Bond's like, I don't think I need to see him. If that's how you're comparing
kind of like that.
him.
You've got a mission, you've got to go to the thing, and then you go to this remote place, and it's like, oh, welcome, like Mr. Bond type of thing, and it's like, oh, she'll show you to a room, and then there's a person like going like, I knew, like you can see he's the bad guy, and there's even a guy, the henchman guy, who's got like a scar on his face,
and
it's
bad.
like, oh yeah, totally evil guy here.
I know the women treat like pieces of meat in James Bond's.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, it's like...
It does annoy me, like, how swoony they all are, and like, oh, here's your pick, and it's like, and that's just acceptable. I think it's just the age we're in now, where women are like, well, no, I'm not, I'm not that, I'm a human being. I'd love to see the equivalent of that being with a man, like a woman sat there, and then she gets a picking of a men. Never gonna happen, is it?
Yeah. Well, certainly not in the past, no. That might...
To be fair, the men would love it anyways, because that's all they think about, isn't it? Whereas a woman, it's not their be-all and end-all. And I think that's the bit that annoys me.
No.
Obviously, Bruce Lee's character, or Lee, he seems to be, obviously, the nice gentleman within it. He's not
in it for that. He's like, oh, there was one I saw at the gathering, the one who gave me the pin or whatever. It's like, he's not in it for like, oh, let's fool around or whatever. He's like, he wants some information about...
Well, he knows that the female agent was there, and he's seen a picture of her, and he knew that was her.
Yeah.
And wanted to basically help her at the same time as, like, resolve some...
Yeah. Whereas if it was in James Bond, that would be like, oh, they'd still sleep together to get the thing, and then she'd end up either dead or something, or whatever, depending on how the script was written.
Really selling these James Bond films to me. I don't really get what Hans's like aim is on the island, like what it is. Like, it seems to have like a lot of things going on. Like, he's got quite a few prisoners, like, that are all in, like, black karate gear.
Yeah.
That are, like, just locked
Caged
up.
doing nothing. Like,
Then he's got some, like, really psychotic women that are...
those are his daughters, you said?
No, the ones that are, like, they look like they're, like, in a mental institute.
Oh, yeah, with the syringe, like, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, yeah. Unless it's just, playthings for him, I don't know, maybe, who knows.
Just don't understand. Then the others, he says, are his daughters, and it's like, well, where's the mum? Or is it just random women he slept with, and then he just keeps the daughters?
I don't know this. Yeah.
And it just seems a bit all bizarre. Like, everyone seems okay living under his ruling on the island, and it's like, how did he get all them people there?
Helicopters, boats, whatever.
Yeah, but, like, how did he lure them?
Riches, I don't know. Yeah.
Just shows if you've got loads of money, you can just get away with murder. Literally.
Yeah. There was the other guy on the boat as well, wasn't there? It was like, oh, that's not cool. Where he's like, oh, I'm going to kick the Asian guy on like...
he's being a dick.
Yeah. And then there's like instant karma almost. After that, when Bruce, or Lee, should I say, says, oh, let's go fight on the island over there. Just get on that boat. Like an idiot, he just gets on and then thinks, oh, what was going on? Why are you extending the rope out? And it's like, well, yeah.
I kind of thought that was him done for then, but somehow
it looked like he was drowning, but
come back somehow, unfortunately.
Yeah. Would have left him if I did say before that. I was like, oh, I hope you get pushed off the boat, mate. Yeah,
because it just seems like one of those arsey characters that's just looking cocky and being a twat for no reason. I do think Lee's character in general seems a bit bizarre because like there's certain lines where he's like art of fighting without fighting, but then he does kill people, and I'm like, Daniel San, are you? Because he's quite like, oh no, you just do it for defense and block yourself.
Do you mean Mr. Miyagi? Sorry.
Yeah, but Daniel goes by it.
Yeah.
And you have to block yourself and all of that. He's not really that level, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, but
he does
it's not
like
karate.
To fight, and
it's
he will.
I think obviously different fighting styles is relating to that, but I get it's supposed to be like a peaceful thing, with the some part of it, but at the same time, for him, it's
he stood on somebody and near enough broke the neck, didn't he? And he had a weird, satisfied face on him while he's doing it.
It's just like pure anger. That was I couldn't stand in the first case when it was that Scarface guy.
Because it was revenge there.
Revenge for his sister, yeah.
Yeah, but then going forward, everybody else's, you were like, well, why can't you just knock them out instead of...
Well, I think most of them, but like...
It didn't even look like he broke somebody's neck at one point.
I think he did, yeah. But he didn't see it, it was just like...
Yeah, but you could... Yeah. There was no blood really shed too much in this. It's not that gory.
Well, there was.
But it's not like dripping and bleeding out, is it?
Yeah.
There's like a bit of tomato ketchup.
in 3 straight lines on his face.
Yeah, and it doesn't trickle anywhere. It just stays there perfectly.
Very vibrant though for the 4K. The blood. and the colours in general, the temple as well. Also.
I was a bit disappointed initially because it didn't look as crisp. I was like, where are they focusing in? And I don't think they were focusing on what I would assume you should focus on.
I suppose. But it's... Initially, I think it took time to get to focus, I suppose. But I would say it wasn't, for older film and stuff. It's not all... They can't always be pristine.
True, but you need to show where your camera's pointing to. What's your main point of focus? And just focus that and then...
Yeah.
That's fine. The rest of it can be blurred because it's not really important.
Well, I found funny, the sequence, when they're kind of all settled in the temple, whatever. And Lee's like sneaking around to find some information. And there's like, a guard, he swings the nunchuck around and goes, oh, make a noise. And he's like sneaking up behind him, like hiding behind things. It's almost felt like video game style kind of logic, like... As if, like, the person didn't notice that you were there, and then does it, like, turn around too late, go, whatever.
Yeah, I get you. Like, when you're in the new Harry Potter game, where you're, like, trying to sneak around and not get in the way. But
or even, I think, like, replaying the Ghost of Tsushima, and it's like that with they seem to notice you, like, if you're miles away, but, certain things like, you following a person and you've got to stay out of shot, and it's like, and it's like, how did you not notice I'm right close behind you? Some games do that, I
think it's just shows like Lee's like capability and how talented he is in comparison to other people as well. Like, he's just more in tuned, I think, than others, and probably the guards see it as, oh, we've never had to really protect anything because nobody dare. Yeah.
For their, like, punishment of the fact that they were so useless in, defending whatever secrets we stumbled across, and it's like they were punished the next day by this other, like, hench men, basically.
Yeah.
Literal hench man.
Told you were bad. I saw him.
You saw them looking as they were approaching the island, and it's like, well, yeah, again, he's
trouble.
so obvious. But, like, I was like, when he was climbing up from that rope, and someone's like, oh, one of the guys is like, oh, what's this? Pulls it up, and then, like, oh, where's this lead to? And then immediately he's comes out, like, so punches him. Yeah. But yeah, as obviously, this is predominantly his film, obviously. And obviously, when he's there, the film is probably the most exciting, as opposed to, like, say, the other characters are not. You're not too interested in what they've got to offer in terms of, like, their fighting capabilities and stuff. They've got nothing on him.
No,
really.
And it really reminds me of when I was little with, like, Street Fighter or Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, like, what's he called?
Law, yeah.
And even, like, the little bouncy, shuffle.
Yeah, so I think they modelled.
I think there is one scene where he's like, Law has literally just a top off and black pants, and that's.
Yeah, in one of his costumes, will have been. And
yeah.
Does that sort of like backflip, makes the sound and stuff, yeah.
He does. So yeah, all 4 of the guards end up being killed.
Yeah.
Because of their incompetence.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, it is like survival of the fittest here. It kind of reminded me of Squid Game a little bit, just because of nobody wants to do wrong and everyone will just throw each other under the bus, basically, because they know if they don't conform, they'll be next.
Mm-hmm.
So Hans then thinks it's Mr. Williams that's being the one that's been out and about, and
he technically was. He just sort of nipped out for some fresh air or whatever, and then that's reason for concern, apparently.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if he's just kind of not thinking it'll be Lee, because he's really hopeful to keep him on, actually wants Lee and sees potential in him. Whereas not so much in Mr. Williams, that is like, oh, well, I can get a shot of him.
I suppose, yeah.
I don't truly understand the relationship with what's the other guy called?
Roper.
Yeah, because I don't know if he's...
Do you mean...
Kind of, with Hans, he's like showing him everything, it's like, and Hans is like, oh, here's like where I keep whatever, and then he ends up seeing like Mr. Williams basically being
hung over that thing, like against some like supervillain thing, like
yeah.
As if it almost, I felt like I actually thought when he dropped him in the water, it was like a shark was gonna, or some piranhas were gonna start eating him or something,
or
crazy.
Poison like eroding his body. I don't know,
but nothing. It was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Why are we hanging him over a pool of water then?
Just make it impactful for.
Well, yeah.
But I don't understand why he's telling him all of that.
He's telling him that information, and
he actually kind of says that. There's a scene where I was like, oh my god, if they kill this cat, I swear to God, I am going to be the grumpiest ass woman ever.
Yeah, and more for the fact because he was a white cat, like a again James Bond villain has the Blofeld from obviously the various Bond films.
Is that James Bond? Why am I thinking of him turning around in a chair? What's that?
Yeah, it's in Bond. And also I think it's in Austin Powers as well.
I think it's
parodied in that, obviously. And also for the fact that we have White Cat Arthur. Mm-hmm. So, like, obviously this one's a lot long-haired, but it's like, oh, please don't hurt the cat.
So I'm getting really upset, but luckily it was fine. But I was like, I'm not going to watch it if it hurts the cat paw.
Yeah, I don't think they would have gone that way. Even if they did, it would be like an off-screen kill. Wouldn't just show it just a cat's head or
decapitated.
Yeah. It would look very rubbish, I would think, if it was the case. It's like a prop.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But I don't think there didn't seem much of a consequence after the fact showing me this information, really, was there?
No, but I don't know if he actually, because he was conforming and wanted to be on the island and everything, he was like really kind of letting him trust, but then in the end he seemed to be kind of on Lee's level and was defeating Hans, so it was a bit confusing actually. I've literally not wrote anything after this because it's like, well, all they did was fight, pretty much. It was great, like the fighting skills of like Lee is fantastic. It's like, yeah, it's spot on, and he does his own stunts and everything, so it's like
choreographed for that, yeah,
is fantastic. But part of me felt like it was a bit like, I don't know if Kill Bill had some influence from it, like with everybody coming in.
I think Tarantino will probably have because I think he likes martial arts films and stuff. So I think this, like the whole bit at the end was like, oh, right, go, you go get him kind of thing, and like a bit like the Crazy 88 from that film, where it's just coming, but they've obviously had swords and it was slightly more choreographed in a way that was more exciting, I suppose.
Instead of just everyone charging.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point? You may as well just say, everybody get him.
Yeah.
Rather than just go, you, Frank and Bob and thing, and you come over here. Get him right now, you two.
And nobody ends up getting him, so he has to do the job himself. I'll try and do the job himself.
Yeah, so here's this Mr. Hahn has this like literal bear claw type of thing.
I did wonder how he'd got his claws.
Yeah, from
on
the
him.
cover of this thing is like, he's got the scars. Like, where's that coming to it?
Yeah, is there a bear coming into it?
So yeah, this little makeshift wooden block with some spikes. Yes, spur on the top and spikes at the bottom, and then he gets to almost like Wolverine. A clip-on thing later on as well when they're fighting inside. So again, that was quite I thought impactful in a way, but mainly because there was like no like sound. It was all just solely focused on the fighting in that bit. And within the
to be fair, that was the most gripping part of the film. I would say the end bit was most enjoyable.
Even the fact of when they're in that mirror room. Where is it? Keeps the sort of the tension suspense.
The cinematography on that is really, really clever. The way that they've done it as well. Appreciate the fact that it is a mirror, so it reflects any camera person that's in there. Mm-hmm. So actually thinking about how they've shot that is amazing. Yeah,
it's quite tricky to pull something off like that without being like, oh, there's Larry or whatever.
I don't think they'll have had Photoshop or anything like that where they could edit them out at that time. To be fair,
it would have taken a lot of time. Even by today's standards, it's tricky to get stuff like that.
So I feel like they've actually really thought about the shots when they've been doing them.
Yeah. Well, like with that though, the words of wisdom in this way, he's like looking up as if like talking to God or something, or remember my words, Simba, something like that about something but on the lines of like destroy the images and you defeat your opponent, basically.
And I think it's kind of making the images more discarded and blurred, kind of like
smashing them so that it's like, we can clearly see that's real.
And you know where you've been.
Yeah.
Like, I've smashed these, so clearly.
I know, I don't need to look that way and go, oh, yes, you're actually over there, I suppose.
It's quite smart, really.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, in the end, he kills Hans and puts a spear through him, so that's great. And then it just ends quite abruptly after that.
I think a lot of these Hong Kong films kind of do. Like, I noticed that with someone like Jackie Chan one, and that one's kind of like it sort of seems like there's not quite a finished ending point. That is kind of just, there we go, that's it.
Because normally you get like a bit of, in an hour action film, you get like a conclusion after
you
that.
Normally get someone like, in an ambulance or something, like with a blanket on her, you okay, man? Like, you'll be fine, or something. Crap along that sense of things, but.
Or you get to a point of where like they see what they're like a week or two later, and you've settled in, and you're just like, right, okay, they've had the fight scene, he's died, they've come out, and then they've both put thumbs up at one another. The end. Yeah,
that was it.
It's literally it.
Good job, man. Yeah.
And I'm guessing in the Chinese version, I don't know if they know what thumbs up is as an actual thing. Like, if that's just like being westernized for everybody else.
No, I think it will. That's a universal symbol of
approval. Sure, somewhere it's swearing.
It might be, but I don't know.
Some country.
Yeah. But on the subject of, briefly, for how, obviously, like other countries you mentioned just now, like, when watching this, just let it run and it being like, I guess, whether that's the native version, that's how it was done anyway, because, I only say that because of the fact that the master at the beginning, like these lip syncing wasn't quite there when he was speaking. It sounded like, it's an American guy doing a voice over there.
And I was like, if this is going to be like this all the way through, I'm not really going to enjoy it.
So I don't know whether there's like on the disc there'd be like a original like mix, and it just let it run like that way. Like, when they load up some anime films sometimes, and it just automatically just plays the English one for some reason, just because it's based in the UK.
I think Lee was actually talking in English. His
he's in American,
looked synced, and everyone else pretty much was. So I think it was just that elder man
and Han as well. Yeah, maybe a bit, but
But
Maybe
compared to
one.
what we watched, the Jackie Chan one,
Dragons Forever, yeah.
I think this one obviously wins over that, to be fair. I think it's more serious. There is a little bit of a storyline. The action is more coherent and actually, not like, oh, I've whacked you from like 10 feet away, you know, like literally looks like there's been contact.
Yeah, there does, yeah. Yeah, every hit makes sense. It's not like you didn't even nowhere near, bro.
Yeah.
It's like you just flying,
doing
over. Exaggerating, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what the only funny part was the like take a bit of the fact that when in that like flashback sequence with his sister, and she's kind of like trying to run away from it's like a wide angle, and you can see her moving down the street and everything. It feels like the way she went around, sometimes it's like you're not helping yourself there, or trip or whatever, but then it's like, no, go back, I'll jump over the wall, but then they caught up with you because you messed around, like
wondering which way to go
or whatever. And it's like, yeah.
She didn't really think it through, did she?
No.
Well, when the guy was saying run, go,
Her dad, yeah.
She was like not really paying attention to him, and I know it's hard. At the same time, she might have lived if she'd have actually had a head start.
Well, I don't know if there's much what to say on it, really, to be honest.
I don't think there is, because there's not much really going on. And I think this is the only problem sometimes when we pick a film neither one of us have seen. We can't really see how much there is to actually talk about or not.
No. All I know is that people do hold this in quite high regard. I think for a martial arts film, and I think I wanted to do something a bit different from the norm that we've kind of been doing, like dramas or comedies, whatever, that kind of stuff. So it's like something that's a bit out of a change of pace, and it's
a bit
like
out of the loop.
Yeah, to experiment a little.
I think it was good. I don't think it's something I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be one of my favourite films and in my top 10 or whatever. Would I be like, oh yes, every year I want to watch it, or is it a one and done? Probably is for me personally. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but I think it's just the actual storyline and everything like that. It's just there's not a lot there. That I'd rather just fast to the end and watch the action scene.
Get the highlight reel up on YouTube or something. Yeah,
Bruce Lee's not the strongest of actors. Like he's
so they can't. They've not much to compare it to, really. So this is the last outing, so this would have been obviously like the peak of where he would have been in his film career.
But the actual.
So compared to all the stuff he'd done in the past, I don't know whether it's on par or what.
Well, I think it's more just the actual action side of things, like his stunts and everything. Yeah, he's great, and I think maybe he's just should be a stuntman than actually a actor. Like the acting, I don't really feel anything from him.
Yeah, there's not like deep emotion.
No,
like when he's delivering his lines. Yeah,
exactly.
I get what you mean, but I think with these kind of films, you have to take it with a pinch of salt a little bit. You are mostly there for the action sequences, and that's what sells these Hong Kong fighting movies. I
think for me though, like I'd say my least favourite genres are going to be comedy and action.
But with some action films, you can
if it's got a good storyline.
Yeah.
It has to have a story and action. It can't just be holding by action.
Shooting, fighting.
Then I'm just bored, not investing in anybody.
I get you, yeah.
Because why would I care about anyone living or dying if, I don't really know who they are?
So you feel like this would have benefited more if there was more of either a backstory on Bruce Lee's character or the other ones, or even the villain also? Right.
And then scrap the other two guys, knowing anything about them.
Right. That's fair. Well, I have to go first with the scoring, don't I? So.
Yeah.
So I would say I kind of disagree with you being like, oh, it's kind of dragging. I thought it kind of flew by the time we were like, oh, how long's left? It's gone pretty quick, I'd say. Obviously, going in, I sort of knew how long the running time was, but at the same time when I'm watching it, kind of just, I did, aside from maybe a little bit like, okay, let's get to the island now. But after that, it kind of just sort of invested as such. Well, a lot of the time going through it thinking, this is like a James Bond film.
Well, if you like James Bonds, then it's great.
Yeah. I would say I've seen enough of them and of them to know that those kind of the tropes that kind of fit well with it. So, I would probably put it at, I give it 7.5 because, and the 0.5 is down to the martial arts fighting style of Bruce Lee and all that kind of what went into that, and obviously choreographing and all that kind of stuff is always impressive to think about how you make sure that all flows well and everything like that, and keeps the excitement going for the last part. It's what you want from these kind of films. So I could care less so much about the other characters, to be fair, but it's just what it is. But it wasn't like, oh, this is terrible or anything like that. But
it is what it is.
I know what I'm getting this from these kind of films, but solid enough. They won't be different. It's like
7 for me is like quite highly scored still.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my middle ground where I'm like, 7's like, you're still quite good.
Mm-hmm. I recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't recommend this one to anybody, just not.
If you like fighting action films, then you would recommend it to them, yeah, surely.
Yeah, but not like this is you must watch.
Okay.
Like, if you died and never saw this, I really don't think it would matter.
Okay.
I think that's how I'm viewing it.
Right, fair enough. That's a good perception of it, yeah.
Like it wouldn't be a deal breaker. Sorry, Bruce Lee. God bless your soul. I'm going to get haunted. I think it's going to have to...
Kick you.
in the face.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have to be a 6.
That's fine, yeah.
I think that's because it probably would be a 5 if Bruce Lee wasn't in it. Mm-hmm. I think it would just be, not fussed. He holds his own. He does well with his, like, all his action packs.
I think that's why the film is hell. If it was just some, no offense, but like any sort of other random person or someone who was lesser known than having such a cult status, then you remove him and then the film kind of falls apart. Really, in terms of this is a run of the mill. If this was like some B movie essentially, or just some really low budget thing, then you wouldn't be given the light of day, would it?
No.
It'd have to be so bad it's good type of thing to get any like
credibility.
Obviously,
you with them. But yeah, I think it is what it is. I don't think I'm in love with it. I don't think I hate it. That's why it's a 6.
Is it a film you've seen?
Yeah.
Like Stand By Me?
Yeah.
It's a martial arts film you've seen.
Yes, yeah. It is. And I've seen it once, so I don't need to see it again.
Okay. I was expecting when you to go a lot lower, to be fair. But
I thought I was going to hate it, but I didn't really hate it. The end was quite gripping, and I enjoyed that, so that's why it has to be scored a bit higher.
Credibility,
yeah. Okay. But the fact that it then just goes, okay, these two are alright at the end, it's a bit like, okay, right, literally couldn't be arsed doing anymore.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
And that's
our wrap.
That's our wrap, yeah.
Yeah, we can't be asked doing any more on it.
I hope you've got some enjoyment out of listening to our thoughts on that. And if you would like to listen to some of our other episodes, then you can do so by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcasts from. And as always, if you would like to leave us a 5-star review on any of those platforms where you can do the scoring system, that would be very much appreciated as well.
And yet again, my little line is, if you haven't already, then why aren't you following us on social media? So you can follow us under the handle SP_filmviewers. We are on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. So if you do want to find us there, it's all under the same handle. And you can follow, like, don't know what else you do.
You just keep up with what's going on with that.
See everything Paul buys. Or not buying. And
few and far between now, but yeah, obviously keep you in the loop of what's coming up, and also the reels and things like that.
And the most important thing is it's going to be my birthday soon.
So birthday special is next
weekend or next week, next Thursday.
Yeah,
yeah, it'll be exciting.
So now it comes to the section of the show where we read the patrons out. Very kindly support the show. And before we read the names out, you can join our family by going to patreon.com/SPFilmViewers. Like our friend Gren, who goes under the handle CGren_draw on Instagram.
And, for example, my mum, who's nowhere to be found.
On social media.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, Jesus, I hope she's But she's a good mum and she supports.
Also got Nico from the Good, the Bad and the Weird podcast.
We've then got Jonesy. So he's under the handle Weight Loss Jonesy. If you do want to follow him, he's really hilarious and funny. He's also joined us a while ago on one of our episodes for The Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good episode, actually, and he's really insightful, so do check it out.
We've got Ben from Film Vloggers.
We've got Mark from 100 Things We've Learned from Film.
We've got my other friend Alex, who is under the handle Desperately Seeking Username on Instagram.
Just desperately seeking a username since God knows how long, but yeah.
Can't think of one.
It's a good one, to be fair. I just feel like it shows his personality within the name, doesn't it? We have then the wonderful Emma, who is on Instagram, and if you do want to follow her, she's under the handle M_Hayton.
And last but not least, we have Shani, who goes by the username SDOG.
Oh, you did that very well.
So start typing ESD and then that should come up on the thing, because it's not just the letters as I say them. So
You did better than I would.
Yeah. So thank you for those lovely patrons for supporting the show. And as I say, you can give £1 British or $1.50 a month to have your name read out and get the chance to vote for a movie for us to watch once a month. Once again, by going to patreon.com/SP Film Viewers. And that'd be awesome.
Yeah, all your love and support in any format is really appreciated, and we would really, really just love to grow this little community and know that people enjoy listening to us. We've been doing this for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to be 3 years.
Maybe four by the end of the year. 4 years. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Started in 2019, didn't we?
No. Well, officially.
Yeah, we did a couple in 2019, didn't we?
And then we started in 2020, yeah. So, yeah.
And yet we're still trying to manage this with busy lives and not COVID being a thing, whereas like you pick up hobbies when you had time because you couldn't socialise.
Yeah, but still good.
I'm really enjoying it. I am. I think my horizons of films have changed and vastly.
Dramatically, yeah. Really have, yeah.
So if we ever split up, I'll be so much a better model for somebody else. But you'd be good husband material. I've trained you well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
But we're going to stick it out, aren't we?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So next time is your birthday special, anyway, so
it's all about me.
You've got a variety of different genres, I'd sort of say.
Yeah,
lined up.
I'm
So
sure Paul's trying to shoehorn his own picks somewhat in there, but I think we've done all right. I think I've held my own.
We'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, darling, what about this one? So they're not completely rom-coms. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. So look forward to that next time. So thank you very much once again for listening, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.
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 Bye.